what I like to do on my monthly budgets is this is a good time to reset, take a look at the goals that I have for the upcoming month, plan out my budget, and decide where every dollar is supposed to go. I am a zero-based budgeter, which means I take a look at what I expect my paychecks to be for the entire month, and I plan where that money will go in advance. Now, this is the way that I do my budgets. They don't necessarily go on the calendar month. It's a little bit different than the way that most people do it, but they are based on my paychecks. That's how I got to these amounts that I can borrow from, by saving these small amounts each payday before those things kind of pop up. Hi everybody, thanks for clicking on this video of mine. I am here to represent the hardworking single parents. On this channel, I experiment with different budgeting styles, savings goals, and I share the strategies I learn as I go. So if that sounds interesting at all to you, please go ahead and click the like button and subscribe to follow my journey. Okay, today I am here to do my July monthly budget, and I'm so excited because June sucked hard. All right, so let's get started. I have my monthly calendar in the binder that I made right here, and I haven't been using this as much as I thought I would this year. Oh, this year has flown by so fast, but I do want to show you the monthly calendar at least. Okay, here we go. Here is my monthly calendar that I set up for the month of July. I've already gone ahead and written out the monthly bills that are due for the month of July. And then here on the side, there's a section for my goals. Okay, so I wrote out to continue with my 12-week year tracking. I want to start tracking my meals and my workout schedule. I am tracking whether I'm doing intentional cardio. That's a whole different story in my 12-week year videos. So go ahead and check that out. Thank you guys so much for showing the last video so much love, probably more than I've ever gotten on any video. So thank you for that. I want to finalize my YouTube memberships. I am coming out with memberships, and I'm very excited about that. It's been a long time. I was supposed to have those finished a long time ago, and I keep changing my mind about what I want to put in them. So that'll be coming out soon. Hopefully I can finish that and finalize it in July. I just need to tweak a few last minute things. I want to update my YouTube calendar. School semester, it ends this week. It ends this week. So I'm very excited about that, the summer semester, and then my next semester starts at the end of August, so I will have some free time. Yay, me, very happy about that. I need to, and I'm working on moving to a digital calendar, possibly. We'll see how that goes. Request my fall funds. My job pays for my schooling, which yay, thank you. Very happy about that. I have to remember the things that I'm grateful for. That is definitely one of them. I need to freeze my Discover credit card so that I don't spend anything on it. I want to focus on just paying it off and not using it at all for the rest of the year. That's another goal, I would say. I need to post some shorts and work on those. But here to focus on the bills for the month. I have those all written out. I write these out at the beginning of the month. And then I wrote down anything that will affect my budget as well. That is a key tip that I suggest you add as well. So I have to get a dental crown done. But I do have the health flex plan, something like that, that comes out of my paycheck, and I do have the money to cover that dental crown. Thank God. That comes out before I even see my check, so that's going to be covered. Yay, thank God for that. There's a couple more highlights that I have for groceries. Of course, that costs money. And then the Renaissance Festival, possibly we're going to go to that. That runs for several weeks from July through August, so I'm hoping we get to go to that because we've never gone to one before. It just depends on my schedule and her schedule as well, my daughter's schedule. And then I have a birthday down here, a coworker's birthday. So I'll probably get her some balloons or something. I don't know quite yet exactly what I'll get her, but I do want her to feel special on her birthday. And then I've already written out the bills and where I intend to pay them. They've all come from this calendar. So I have my A paycheck, which will be June 30th, the paycheck A, and then the 14th will be paycheck B, so the second paycheck of the month. And then this last payday, which is July 28th. I'm making that a part of August budget. August is going to be my break month, so I'll be done with my 12-week year, and I can get a break. Break months are a little bit different. I'll have a magic month, which means I get paid 3 times in 1 month, so I'll get to have a little bit of fun with some money in August. So let's get into the actual meat and bones of the budget. So I keep this over to the side while I do my budget, but mostly I want to keep in mind the things that will affect my budget that aren't part of my regular bills. Okay, and then the next thing that I have is my budget cheat sheet. This I keep with me anytime I do a monthly or a bi-weekly budget. It is my saving grace, especially when I have some extra money where, I decide where I want everything to go. So that's one thing that I'll be using. I'll show you guys some more of that. I did get my YouTube income for the month of May this month, and I was able to buy myself some more erasable pens, which I love and needed. All right, so we're doing our July, I almost said June, July monthly budget projection, because of course I don't know for sure how much my paychecks will be. But this is just an estimate, so I have an idea of where everything will go. All right, and July is going to run me from June 30th through July 27th. Now, this is the way that I do my budgets. They don't necessarily go on the calendar month. It's a little bit different than the way that most people do it, but they are based on my paychecks. So the magic month is another reason why I do it. This just makes sure that all of my bills that I do within a month are paid with the 2 paychecks that I have. Hopefully that makes sense. So a month for me is based on the 2 paychecks that I have to make sure that all the bills that are due are paid within those 2 paychecks and I don't have any overlapping bills. For the month of July, based on the overtime that I've done, and I always do overtime, I'm estimating that the first paycheck will be $17.25, and the second one hopefully will be $17.50. So I looked back. I'm so glad that I write these down. I was feeling a little bit down about the month of June because I always feel like I'm trying so hard to save and I can never get there because a lot of money went out last month. So right now, if you haven't seen my post, I am down less than half of what I've saved for. But this is why I encourage that the little amounts do add up, because if I didn't have that money saved, I don't know what I would have done with the car repair and the broken windows and all these other things that I have going on. Thank God that I had I call them don't sink funds that I saved little by little. But the reason I say that is because I went to look back and see how my paychecks looks at this time last year. They were about $300 left. So if I could, less, girl. So if I could do it then, I can definitely figure out how to deal with this now. All right, I forgot my handy calculator. My handy chocolate? What is happening? Every time I sit down to film, I just turn into a turtle because what is happening? Okay, $34.75 is what we're working with. Now, I do have some sinking funds, so I'm going to start over here with my budget notes. I have some sinking funds that I plan to use for this month. Note that I want to put is possibly the Renaissance Festival. But we're going to take that from Family Fund if we need to. I'm not going to plan for it, but if we do, we have some extra money. Next thing I need is $400 from the emergency fund because, like I said, I have a broken windshield. It's cracked in my car. So I need to add $400 that I will be using to fix that. Unfortunately, my deductible is $500. So that's what I get for trying to keep my car insurance cheap. And then $50 because I need a inspection. That's going to be due in the month of July, and that's going to come from car emergency. And I need $150 in home maintenance, and that's just approximate because my daughter, actually the quote that I got was $300. So I'm going to try to see if I can find a company that can just cut the glass. If you guys know if that's possible for me to find somewhere, let me know. I've got a couple emails out to some places to see if they'll just cut the glass for me and I can do it myself. Like I said, broke queen, but you guys all yelled at me for saying broke. A DIY queen, I'll say that. You're right, though. I'm able to pay for that repair, but if I can do it for $150 cheaper myself, or even more, less than that, that would be the best. So that's approximate. Next thing is my home decor. That's $70. That is because I didn't even say what this is for. The $150 for home maintenance is for a window that my daughter accidentally broke. She knocked on it, I guess, a little bit too hard. Doesn't know her own strength, and broke. It's just a little 5.5 by 11.5 window of our door. So I have to get that fixed. It's an internal door, so it's fine. So I'll get that fixed, and then also she was cleaning the office upstairs. And I don't know if she broke my rack or it just happened to break. It's a clothing rack. It was a cheap one, so it's time for me to get a new one. But right now, all my clothes and dresses are on the floor, so I do need to replace that. Actually, I'm going to move this up to $80 because I did some pricing on Amazon and Walmart, and the ones that are worth their weight are about $80. And the last one is $60 for Costco. That's on my semi-annual, so I had to renew my membership there. Klarna, I did purchase some things on Klarna. I am going to pay $35 every payday, and we're going to pay off the $140. It's actually not due until August because I made a payment already, but the total of $140 will be paid by then, if not sooner. All right, now we're ready to get to the actual numbers. We have the $34.75, and we're going to add the total of these planned sinking funds. So these are savings that I have in these different areas that will be used. So I'm adding them to my starting balance so that at the end of the month, I know how I was able to afford those, because of course the expenses are more than what my paycheck will allow. Let's see, we're adding $740, and that makes it $42.15 for the month. All right, so first thing that comes out based on my cheat sheet is going to be my automatic savings, which is the $25 for the car note. If you are new here and haven't seen the video on how I paid the big bill with a small sum, go ahead and check that out so you can kind of understand why that's only $50. $50 is not bad at all. All right, that brings us down to $41.65, and that is the only one that is in my auto savings as of now. Everything else got moved to different priorities, so my cheat sheet was updated, and I'll show you where everything else is going to come from. Next thing that comes out is my fixed expenses. So let's see what my fixed expenses look. Branch out. This is my little mind map. All right, so my fixed expenses are $910 for the mortgage. We're going to pay $200 a month to Discover. Now, I think the payment is only like $70, but for me, that's still a lot because I'm not used to paying that much. The reason it is so much is because I'm still paying for the furnace that I had to purchase this year. This year's been fun. All right, I'm going to write these out. You guys can see what I'm doing. I also have to add that Costco membership. That's not a normal monthly bill, but I need to add that in because that's going to be due in the month of July. I do have that written here on my 2.5 step. So for the month of July, Costco is the bill that I have to pay on my semi-annuals. So I'm going to add that. And then I also need to add the $35, actually it should be $70. Since it's not due until the end of August, we'll do $35 now, and then we'll do $70 for August. So here's Klarna, one Klarna payment. Since I'm paying it early anyway. All right, so let's add this up. That brings me to $17.25. So if we subtract all of these, we get down to 0. All right, then we're left with $24.40. Next thing that comes out based on my cheat sheet would be any unexpected or other expenses. Those would be the things here that need to come out, things that aren't planned, but they have to happen. So 450, 150, and 80. 80 is $680. Write these out very specifically because I know that by payday I'm going to completely forget what needs to go where. So this is from a car emergency, and this is for inspection, and then 150 for the clothing rack, and $80 for home decor. Sorry, that 150 is for home maintenance for the window. Okay. That made the lighting much better. So down to $17.60. All right, next thing that comes out based on my cheat sheet is our variable expenses. So things like grocery, gas, essentials that are outside of what we need for toiletries. So other things that we need around the house like Drano, etc. Dining out, pretty explanatory, miscellaneous. And then I have a spending bucket for me, a spending bucket for my daughter. She has her own job, but I do like to keep some money for her as well. And pet and health are as needed. I think we're going to leave those alone for right now. Health is fully funded. Pet is probably close to it. So $17.60. We're going to take off $1,000 for our variables. And that's going to leave us with $760. All right, so let's do the breakdown of those. So we have $450 for the month. These are for the month for grocery and toiletries. $100 for gas. $100 for essentials. $140 for dining. Hopefully we can stick to that. That's a little bit less than usual. $40 for miscellaneous, $120 for mom spend, which is me, and $50 for poo spend. And those roll over from week to week, so just add a little bit at a time. Pet and health doesn't need anything, so let's see if this zeroes out. Hopefully it does. Does. Perfect. Okay. Second to last is our always fund. $700 is coming from there. And that'll leave us with $60. Okay, for the always fund, these are my priority savings, and I will be starting to cash stuff my sinking funds again, just because I miss it and I like doing it, and I have all these pretty binders for it. So the always fund is in here. There's some money in there still. I didn't take anything back to the bank, so I have just a few of these that were in the always fund before. So some things that are priorities, I just probably will have to move some things around because some things are more priority now than they were before, or vice versa. So in the always fund, we want to focus on the priorities. Emergency fund is going to get $150 each month for the month of July. Graduation for my daughter is going to get $140. Home maintenance for repairs and stuff, that's going to get $50. My daughter's clothes she will need for next school year is going to get $70. Christmas is going to get $100. This is my first time saving for Christmas because we were so focused on vacation that I didn't get to save for Christmas at all. But we're only halfway through the year, so maybe we'll get there. And then my binder, which I can decide that day where I want that to go, is going to get $80. you know, projecting. And then car maintenance, still want to put a little bit in there. $30. $30 for the month. My main focus right now is the emergency fund. And then I can start a car emergency because, of course, if there is an emergency with a car or I need a repair, I can take it from the emergency fund. But it definitely needs its own since it's an older car. So I will be needing it. It will need repairs. And I want it to go to my daughter. So I'm trying to make sure that it's in the best shape it can possibly be in so that she can take it when she graduates. And her graduation money I am saving for if she wants to have a small get together. And also I would like to, if I can reach it, give her $1,000 specifically in a savings for the car. We'll probably set up a high yield savings account for her before she graduates. Right now it's just in my high yield so that she can have that start for the car in case anything happens. I would hate to just throw that to her and then boom, all of a sudden she needs to make a repair and she can't drive it because she doesn't have the money. Okay, and $60 is what we're left with. That's going to go to other, I'm calling them don't sink funds. So that's how I got to these amounts that I can borrow from, by saving these small amounts each payday before those things kind of pop up. All right, for the $60 in don't sink funds, where are we going to put that? Let's see. I want to put some money in her bonus envelope. Something doesn't feel right. I'll have to recheck my math in a minute because I think something doesn't feel right. All right, so we're going to take 25 from pool bonus. That leaves us with $35. I know I want to put at least 25 in my 100 envelope. And then the extra, what's left, $10. Let's put to gift. All right. There we go. Zero-based budget. Boom. That one was pretty quick and easy and straight to the point. And I think what helped with making this easier is that throughout the month, I have a little sticky note that I keep in my planner so that anytime I think of anything that I'm going to need to pay for the upcoming month or the upcoming week, I just jot that down so that when I do my budget, I remember to pencil that into it. The good thing is that I was just, like I said, I was down about the month of June because I used so much. You'll see that when I do my June closeout, I used so many sinking funds because of the car repair and other things that went wrong. But so I just sat down and I prayed and I'm like, I know I'm not giving more than I can handle. So give me something because I just feel like I'm running on a hamster wheel with this savings thing. And I got an email literally the next day that reminded me we're going to be getting our bonus. So back from COVID days, we were supposed to get a lump sum payment, but they ended up breaking those up for the people who worked through COVID, which I did, which I'm actually was happy I was able to do that. But they gave us a lump sum last July and they're going to give us the rest of this July. So I will be getting that lump sum. And then I will be getting a refund from school because of grants that paid for the rest of what's, work didn't pay for, which I didn't even think I was going to be getting those kind of things, but I do, and I'll take it. And then lastly, the third thing that I'll be getting this month is a star credit, which is for people who live in New York who bought a house before they finished it. So it's basically some kind of tax. I don't know. It's some kind of a tax benefit that you get for owning a home in the area that I own the home in. And I filed the right paperwork right before they ended the program. So I usually get around $300 to $400 for that. So I'll have to stay tuned for those budgets, deciding where I want those to go. But lastly, I also, this month for June, I got my YouTube income for the month of May. Yay, confetti. So I actually got a total of $180, but what I did was I replaced some money that was missing in my bank account buffer. I like to keep the buffer at $100, so I got a total of $180 in YouTube income. I took $13.74 towards the buffer, and then I bought my pens, so it left me with $156.26. So we're gonna cash stuff these. I haven't done this in like a month. I don't know why I'm so excited by it. So I think some of this stuff is in my always fund. I can't even really remember. So her graduation money is getting some money. Here's graduation for my daughter. She's getting $30 to go in there. Alright, so she now has 50, 100, 20, 40, 60, 80, 2, 20, 40, 50, 250 in here. She has more in the bank account, but and this is June YouTube income. We're adding 30, brings us to 250 there. Her clothing envelope, I don't know if it's in here or if it's in her binder. I think it's in her binder. All right, this is my daughter's pretty pink binder. For those of you that are new, she's got her own binder. I've got different binders for different things. Her bonus envelope is going to get $20, and this is for her grades. If she gets 90 or above in any class, she gets $10 for each class. So I'm expecting her final report card to come out soon. So this has come from June YouTube. Okay. And then her clothing is getting $25. Here it is. She does have some money in here. I don't think so. $20, $40, $65 here. These all still have money in the bank. Alright, that's it for her. And then I'm going to put some money in my YouTube giveaway, which I haven't been able to do much this year. YouTube didn't give me any money last month. But I didn't post much because of school. So let's see, where is it? YouTube giveaway is getting $10. I like to do those when I can. I don't have a lot to give you guys, but you know, you help me get the income, it'll be nice. I think it's nice to do giveaways. I like to celebrate you guys when I can. And this is June YouTube, all right? And then I'm giving myself $50, 50 boogaroos. Where's my binder? Here's my binder. I don't know, where do I want to put that? I'm going to put it in, beauty because I am going to treat myself, since the semester is over, with a pedicure. 40, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Yep, I'm going to treat myself with a pedicure since the semester is over. And right now, the place I go for pedicures actually has a half off sale, so it might not even be much at all. But I might also treat myself to get my nails done. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I feel kind of bad about the money I've already spent, so we'll see. All right, and lastly, this $21 is going to go to my 100 envelope, which I haven't touched in a while. I need 21. Here's number 21. I made these myself, and I do show you how I did it. I have a video if you guys are interested. I will link it so that you guys can see how I made this. This is 100% out of Dollar Tree products. It's a little ghetto, but I kind of like it because every time I pull one of these out, I get to see what I made. They're all a little bit different. And I made this like 2 years ago, so. All right, we're at $21 there, and I actually made this part of my saving challenge book. We're bringing this bad boy back out. All right, 100 envelope is here, so I'm going to highlight the 21 that we just put in there. And I had this book already. There's a couple of these that are already done. We did for junior year. I saved up for a giveaway. I don't know what this was for. I think this was for a vacation, like a road trip vacation. Junior year's done. This I saved towards vacation that year. Literally just going on this year, started 2 years ago. And this was for some things that I need to apply for. Obviously, now I don't remember what this was for. But we've completed some of these challenges already, and I love this book. It's less than $10 on Amazon. I'll put the link in the description below for that as well. What's your biggest goal for the month of July? Did I just say June? What's your biggest goal? This is how much June is on my mouth. What's your biggest goal for the month of July? And if you're new here, I got a bunch of new subscribers. If you're new here, what video made you click subscribe? I'm very interested in that. If you have not already, please hit the subscribe button. One of my 12-week year goals is to get myself to 6,000 subscribers. So hopefully Savers help me get there. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I want you to always remember it is about progression and not about perfection. Thanks for watching and happy saving. Bye.